Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your news edition. These are the headlines. A remarkable development for the energy sector in Larwat. The region is one of the few provinces with 5 electric plants having a surplus in production that will benefit to all the country thanks to the interconnection of the national network. The first edition of the Innovation in Smart Energy Skills Challenge comes to an end, an edition aiming at encouraging creativity to serve the energy transition. Algeria wins the directorship of the Arab Center for News and Program Exchange of the Arab States Broadcasting Union. To the United Nations, Algeria reiterates its unwavering support to the Palestinian people, affirming that the Zionist entity's aggression is a violation of international law. Welcome back. Algeria's energy capacity is expanding once again. In Larwat province, a new power project at Hassermel is set to come online in 2026, strengthening the national grid and consolidating the South's strategic role in electricity production.
In the Hassermel Energy Zone, preparations are underway for the commissioning of a new power plant. Tilgrim 2, scheduled to enter service in January 2026, will add more than 360 megawatts to Algeria's electricity network using gas-fired turbines. The facility will operate alongside Tilgrim 1 and Tilgrim 3, within a region that has become one of the country's main energy centers.
Larwat is one of the few provinces to host 5 power plants, including a photovoltaic unit with 2 more projects underway. This allows the province to generate an electricity surplus, supplying the national grid through interconnection. We are currently at the Tilgrim 2 power plant, which has an estimated generation capacity of around 368 megawatts and is equipped with 2 gas turbines. The facility is expected to be connected to the national electricity grid by the end of the year. It is also worth highlighting that this power plant was entirely built by Algerian hands, relying on local expertise, engineers and technical staff.
This progress is part of a wider infrastructure program now underway across the region.
The first phase of the project is well advanced. The network will extend from Hassermel to the province of Menia, covering over 390 kilometers. Algeria is exporting its technological expertise to more than 14 African countries. Today, training sessions are being held in Algerian schools run by Sonalgaz. Our company, which began work this year, is on track. With God's willing, the project will be completed within the agreed contractual timelines. The foundations and civil engineering work have been finished, as well as the steel framework. Soon, electrical line installations will also begin.
With these developments, Larwat strengthens its status as a key driver of national energy security, supporting near-total gas coverage, high electricity availability, and a strong south-north power corridor within Algeria's grid.
This Tuesday marked the end of the first edition of the Smart Energy Efficiency Innovation Challenge, which aimed to encourage young creative minds, reinforce their skills, and promote the sustainable solutions for energy transition. Manal Boubagara.
National competition dedicated to energy efficiency showcased projects led by talented individuals committed to energy transition. This initiative aims to promote the adoption of smart solutions and strengthening the innovation ecosystem in Algeria. This competition was designed to cover all aspects of the project, from prototype to technical execution. The participants will receive their trophies and monetary awards that recognize their remarkable contributions with innovative approaches and their technology's local integration in the sectors of energy efficiency. This competition covered 3 categories spanning the entire innovation cycle, from idea to prototype. A panel of experts evaluated the projects based on their degree of innovation, impact and contribution to employment. The top 3 winners were recognized for their promising solutions in a rapidly changing sector.
DigiWaves est une start-up algérienne.
DigiWaves is an Algerian startup specialized in digitization in its various forms, with data systems that reflect operational processes in industrial digitization, as well as the IIoT platforms that allow us to connect, supervise and control industries.
connecter l'industrie, de la superviser et de la contrôler exceptionnellement.
It's a project that's based on connective delivery, especially in rural zones in Algeria.
L'eau dans les zones rurales flageolent. J'ai obtenu le premier prix.
I got the first prize for the first category with a local Fugara project. I got inspired by the Great Fugara system in the Algerian Sahara. It's an ancestral irrigation system, and I integrated it in contemporary architecture to allow underground cooling, recycling both waste and rainwater. Beyond the awards, this first edition of the Smart Energy Innovation Challenge aims to boost Algeria's startup ecosystem and position the country as a regional hub for energy innovation, turning today's ideas into concrete solutions for a sustainable future.
Economy now, with the launching of the digital platform for managing and monitoring the projected programs for raw material import operations for the first 2026 semester, which reflects the orientation of the sector towards digitization and reinforcing the governance. Launched by the Minister of Foreign Trade and Export Promotion, Canal, the platform will also ensure the transparency and the celerity in processing the files and the precision of data of the producing companies. We'll listen.
The platform is of major importance, particularly with regard to the export of raw materials and equipment. As you know, this is a strategic sector that is closely linked to the national economy. This platform will enable economic operators to gain easier access to all the raw materials they require. We will be launching other platforms in the coming days. The first will be dedicated to monitoring service import operations, while the second will focus on sales in their current state. This initiative is part of the completion of an integrated digital system aimed at organizing the various modes of foreign trade. These platforms will provide us with visibility over what is being imported and exported. We will therefore have reliable data, and as you know, data is essential for making sound and timely decisions.
The State Minister for Hydrocarbons and Mines, Mohamed Arqab, received on Tuesday the Minister of Oil, Mines and Geology of Chad, Ndolnonji Alikse Naimbai, and the delegation accompanying her. The two parties reviewed the cooperation opportunities and the reinforcement of the partnership relations between the two countries in the sectors of hydrocarbons and mines. Let's listen.
We are pleased today to strengthen relations between our two brotherly countries with a view to exploring further avenues of cooperation in several fields, notably mining and hydrocarbons, and to developing our bilateral relations. All of Algeria's capabilities in this sector, which can enable our brothers in Chad to establish an industry in the fields of hydrocarbons, gas and oil, as well as downstream processing industries, were discussed. Along with extensive Algerian expertise acquired in this area, we also addressed the mining sector, particularly ways to cooperate and invest in this field.
The Minister of Justice and Seeds Keeper, Lotfi Boujmaa, received the State Minister of Justice of the Democratic Federal Republic of Somalia, Belalihun Yirga. The two parties reviewed the cooperation between the two countries in the sector of justice. As part of reinforcing digital security and protecting the citizens and their belongings against cybercriminality, specialized teams of the national security carried out a large operation across the national territory targeting online scamming networks. Under the supervision of the public prosecutors, the operation led to the dismantlement of 32 criminal networks specializing in online scams, including one international network operating from an Asian country. 197 scammers have been arrested. The investigation unveiled the scamming methods as softwares for data stealing and identity theft were used. The victims lost more than 52.9 million cents in Algerian dinar. In Tunis, Algeria won the directorship of the Arab Center for News and Program Exchange of the Arab States Broadcasting Union. Represented by the EPTV and the Algerian Radio, Algeria, through its candidate, the former Deputy Director General of the Algerian Television, Adel Khansous, who was acclaimed for this position by the members of the ASBU General Assembly after the withdrawal of the Egyptian candidate in favor of Algeria. is the result of intense discussions led by the Director General of the EPTV, Mohamed Baghali, with his counterparts to affirm once again Algeria's considering among broader league countries in Arab and international organizations. Algeria keeps the position of the AEIP Center in addition to the status as a member of the ASBU Executive Council. Algeria's permanent representative at the United Nations, Ammar Ben Jama, reiterated Algeria's unwavering support to the Palestinian people, affirming that the Zionist entity's aggression is a violation of international law. We'll listen.
Gaza has led bare, as has Palestinian as a whole, the reality of an international order that no longer recognizes anything but force. A message echoing across the world that the logic of power has become the principal driver of international relations at the expense of law, of justice, and the principles upon which this organization, the United Nations, was founded. In closing, Mr. President, as Algeria concludes its term in the Security Council, it reiterates again and again, as affirmed by the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, and I quote, Algeria will remain faithful to its commitment in support of our brothers and sisters in occupied Palestine. Algeria will spare no effort in defending their legitimate rights until full sovereignty is restored and a free, independent state of Palestine is established. I thank you.
The General Assembly of the United Nations adopted by an overwhelming majority a resolution reaffirming the permanent sovereignty of the Palestinian people on its natural resources. It affirms a set of legal principles and foundations related to the Palestinian resources, including the applicability of the Fourth Convention of Geneva on the protection of civilians in times of war in the occupied Palestinian territories, in addition to the International Pact on the Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. This resolution calls on the Zionist entity to stop the exploitation of these resources and highlights that the Palestinians have the right to demand the financial compensation for this exploitation. Thousands of Palestinians woke up to their tents and goods completely submerged. Same case for a Shifa hospital, the biggest hospital in the region, further worsening the health crisis. Manal Bobagara with the details.
Gaza, the winter cold has become as deadly as the Zionist bombing. Displaced families are struggling to survive in makeshift shelters exposed to torrential rains, violent winds and freezing temperatures brought by the storm Byron. Floodwaters have already destroyed and severely damaged more than 27,000 tents, leaving thousands of families without shelter. Most are trying to find refuge under the remains of buildings destroyed by the Zionist occupation's army. The human consequences are tragic. More than a dozen people have died, including children and infants who succumbed to the cold. Already largely damaged by the Zionist bombing, the Al-Shifa medical complex, the largest hospital in the Strip, is submerged. Several of its sections, notably emergency services, have been engulfed by water, endangering the lives of patients. Humanitarian organizations warn that current aid deliveries remain far from sufficient. Blankets, warm clothing and waterproof tents are not enough to meet the massive needs and are calling for an urgent intensification of aid. Other agencies estimate that at least 300,000 additional tents are needed to protect families during the winter. They are calling for the lifting of restrictions imposed by the Zionist entity on the delivery of humanitarian aid and supplies that have been waiting for months to enter Gaza, in order to avoid putting even more displaced families in grave danger. According to the local authorities, at least 288,000 families are homeless, and more than 1.5 million people are currently living in makeshift shelters. In Gaza, surviving the war is no longer enough. Cold, rain and exposure have become another deadly threat to a population already battered by 2 years of genocidal war.
And now we're taking you to the south of the country, where the Algerian Sahara stands as a source of inspiration, particularly Timimoun province, where silence fuels creativity. Basma Far.
Wide, silent and bathed in light, the Algerian Sahara makes its presence felt. The eye drifts across the horizon. Time seems to slow down in this striking setting. Writers from around the world come in search of inspiration, drawn by the unique atmosphere of Timimoun.
I wanted to introduce them to the beauty of Algeria's tangible cultural heritage with a particular focus on Timimoun.
Au bien-être que vous nous offrez.
I don't know how you manage to offer us such a sense of well-being. Your country is a place of contrast, of course, but one where hospitality and generosity are constant. Here, we will discover a fundamental value of humanity.
On trouve le fondamental de l'humanité, c'est l'humilité.
People live here, love their lives. I like the vegetables, food, everything here. And I want to help them to be a good life in the future.
As the stay continues, the ochre buildings, the golden sand, and the spiritual dimension of the region turn the journey into a moment of creation. Writing becomes a process of reflection.
Ils sont là justement pour sublimer.
They are here precisely to highlight the beauty of our Sahara, and today I truly believe they are deeply inspired.
Vraiment très inspirés.
On était vraiment ravis, nous, en tant qu'auteurs.
We were truly delighted as writers and poets to meet one another, to come together and to reconnect with our roots, to rediscover our history, our culture and our traditions, different from one another, because that diversity is what makes our country so beautiful.
In Timimoun, inspiration is not found in spectacle. It emerges through careful attention to the place itself, and to what it quietly imposes. Only those who pause can truly receive it.
And with this, we come to the end of our edition, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. Have a good night.